Hello, dear students. I welcome you all on behalf of Sri Jayendra Rank Zone classes. Dear student, in previous class, in a continuation of this chapter that is anatomy of flowering plant, we have covered the secondary growth in dicot stem. And in that, we have discussed already the formation and activity of vascular cambium as well as core cambium. But when activity of vascular cambium happens or occur, the secondary xylem is formed. And this secondary xylem is known as wood. This secondary xylem is known as wood. Now, this wood, or we can say secondary xylem, is of different type. So here in today's lecture, we are going to discuss the different types of wood, in which we are going to discuss spring wood, autumn wood, heartwood, and sapwood. So let's discuss this. So first, we are going to discuss the spring wood and autumn wood in this part. And here we are going to discuss the activity of cambium and how this particularly a spring wood and autumn wood are differentiated. So dear students, the activity of cambium is under the control of many physiological and environmental factors. Means cambium is going to divide and going to add cells on the inner side as well as outer side of this cambium under the control of many physiological activities and environmental factors. In temperate region, if we see, the seasonal variation are more conspicuous or more differentiated, okay, or more pronounced, we can say. You can see the proper winter, proper summer, and proper monsoon seasons, and you see the seasonal differences there. So based on the seasonal differences, the activity of cambium varies. And based on that, the activity of cambium, we are going to discuss here two types of wood, that is spring wood and the early wood. Now here, spring wood and early wood, if we talk in detail, during the favorable condition, specifically we can say in spring, when more leaves and flowers are formed, the plant require large amount of water and mineral salts. Actually, what happens in spring, there is going to be formation of leaves and flower, and obviously, for this growth pattern, there is a need of certain amount of water and mineral salts. And for the transport of water and minerals, there is a need of secondary xylem. So the wood formed in spring period shows more number of xylem vessels having wide lumen, because in spring the activity of cambium ring increases due to the demand in the plant. And when the activity of cambium is more in this spring season or spring period, the more number of xylem vessels are formed. And this each wise xylem vessels have wider lumen. And this is known as spring wood or early wood. This is known as spring wood or early wood. So dear students, if we talk here, see here, this is a spring wood is also known as early wood. Okay, and the spring wood is early wood here shown, and the late wood is also shown in this particular diagram. Here you can see this is the early wood and this is the late wood. Late wood is the autumn wood. Now what happens in spring season, you will see that vascular cambium is very active. So it produces a large number of secondary xylem elements. And secondary xylem elements means nothing but vessels, and they have wider lumen or cavities. So the wood formed during this season is known as spring or wood or early wood. Whereas when we talk about the autumn wood, here, which is also known as late wood, and during the unfavorable season, that is in autumn, the plants are inactive. Hence, they do not require more water and mineral salt. So, the activity of vascular cambium is less. Hence, the wood produced in this period is less and show a less number of xylem vessels during having a narrow lumen. Whereas in spring wood, you will see that they have a wider lumen. Whereas in autumn wood, they are formed in less number as well as they have a narrow lumen. And this is known as autumn wood or late wood. So in diagrammatic, we have seen that autumn wood and spring wood are formed in a way, and they are particularly autumn wood is less comparatively, we can say, but spring wood is more due to the requirement of the plant. In this type, two type of wood, secondary xylem are produced in 1 year. Both this type of wood are produced in 1 year. So this kind of wood that appear as a concentric ring, they are going to appear in the form of ring, and they constitute an annual ring or growth ring. They are going to constitute annual ring or growth ring. So now, one spring, one ring or one circle of spring wood and one circle of autumn wood combinedly called as annual ring. Combinedly called as annual ring. And when they combinedly form an annual ring, the question is the study which dealing with this annual ring, it is known as dendrochronology. So the branch of science which deals with the counting the number of annual ring, and with that the estimation of the age of trees. It is known that whatever the number of annual rings, one, as we have discussed, one annual ring consists of one spring wood ring and one autumn wood ring. Both these two ring combinedly known as annual ring. So if it is a branch which is dealing with the number of counting the number of annual ring and estimation of the age of tree, this branch is known as the dendrochronology. Now, the spring wood, if we talk, it is lighter in color. Okay, why? Because it has a wider lumen and has a lower density. Because the filling is less, transport can easily occur. Whereas when we talk about the atom wood, they have a narrow lumen of xylem vessel, and due to the narrow wood of xylem vessel, they appear dense. Why did they appear dense or darker? Because the particularly transporting material is getting continuously filled in that and getting transported continuously. So this particular autumn would appear darker and with a higher density, whereas spring would appear, we can say, lighter and has a lower density. So this is the thing which is seen in case of particularly, we can say, the spring wood and autumn wood. Now, if we want to make a more differentiation, then we can easily carry out this differentiation, or we can note more points with this. So one important point which we come to know here, that a ring of autumn wood, a ring of autumn wood and ring of spring wood ring of autumn wood and ring of spring wood are collectively known as collectively known as annual ring. Okay, and here, when they are collectively known as annual ring, this annual ring, or we can say number of annual ring, number of annual ring is equal to the age of tree. So number of annual ring is equal to the age of the tree. So it can be identified. And we have studied the branch which deals with this, that is known as dendrochronology. So this autumn wood and ring would appear in a concentric rings. Now, if you want to count a particularly annual ring, then it is known that annual ring are counted from base of the stem, are counted from base of the stem, because basal part has maximum annual rings. has maximum annual ring and upper part has less. Therefore, the counting from the basal region can give a correct idea. Now, how this is counted? So here, increment borer instrument. So this increment borer instrument is this help to count annual ring. Okay, so this is the thing which is seen in case of the increment borer instruments. So how this is used? Let's see. So what we do, suppose this is the plant. Okay, so from the base of the plant, a piece of wood is taken. Suppose we are cutting a piece of wood from this up to the central region. So here a piece of wood is taken from the stem up to basal region with the help of increment borer instrument. So this particular piece is going to appear like this. Now here you will see the annual ring like this. So by using this, annual ring are counted. And after counting annual ring, again a piece is inserted into the same stem. Again piece is inserted into same stem and at same place. Okay, such a way this help us to count the particular annual ring. Now it is known that more clear or distinct or differentiated annual ring are formed in climatic conditions in areas, or we can say in areas where climatic variation are sharp. So if climatic variation are sharp, then you will see the clear differentiation of this annual ring or spring wood and autumn wood rings. So such condition are found in temperate plants. Are found in temperate plants, because in temperate region the climatic conditions are not uniform throughout the year and they are variable. So distinct annual ring are more observed in temperate region. Okay, and this distinct distinct annual ring are formed in India are not formed in India except Himalaya region, and that include Shimla, Nainital, etc. Okay, so in this region you will see the distinct annual rings. Otherwise, in India you will not see such distinct annual rings because majority part of India is in tropical plants, tropical region. So they have tropical plants. Now, if we go on continue the discussion of annual ring, least distinct or differentiated annual ring are formed in seashore regions are formed in seashore regions or coastal regions because climate remains or climatic conditions remains same throughout the year. In desert also, annual rings are less distinct. And in annual rings, a band of secondary xylem and xylem rays are present that you can see. So this is the what about we can say the particular differentiation of the spring wood and autumn wood due to the difference in the activity of a cambium in different seasons. Okay, so that is the spring wood and autumn wood or early wood, late wood. This we have discussed. I hope you understood that the spring wood is early wood due to the high activity of cambium. They have a large number of vessel elements, and in spring wood you will see the wider lumen. In spring wood you will see the lighter in color, and they have a lower density. Whereas when we talk about autumn wood, in autumn wood or winter, the cambium activity is more, and the wood is going to be darker, and they have a higher density. Okay, so these things we have discussed. Now after this we are going to discuss another type of wood, and they are heartwood and spring wood, heartwood and sapwood, sorry. So if we talk about this another type of wood, in old trees, dear student, if you see the greater part of secondary xylem is a dark brown, and if you see the greater part of this secondary xylem dark brown, it is due to the deposition of some of the organic compounds like tannin, resin, oil, gum, some aromatic substances, and essential oils in the central or innermost layer of the cell, innermost layer of the stem. So you will see such deposition in the innermost layers of the stem. Okay, and that particularly vessels of secondary xylem are going to fill due to these secretory components. These substances, when filled within the vessels of the secondary xylem on the near to the innermost layer of the stem or the towards the central region, the vessels are going to be hard and secondary xylem is also going to be hard. So these substances make this wood hard, durable, and resistant to the attack of microorganism and insect. And this hard, durable, resistant wood is known as a heartwood. So if we talk about heartwood, this region comprises the dead elements with highly lignified walls is called a heartwood or duramen. And highly lignified walls and the dead element due to the continuous filling. And it is made up of mainly xylem elements. In xylem also we have discussed three parts are dead. So the heartwood does due to the filling, the vessels are stopping their transport and the heartwood does not conduct water. Heartwood stop conducting water, but it gives mechanical support to the stem. But it gives mechanical support to the stem because it is a durable. So if you see in this region, this central region is nothing but heartwood. But if we talk about this particular wood, which is on the periphery part, this is going to be sapwood. Okay, we will discuss sapwood, but here first we are discussing hardwood. So hardwood in this, what is happening? It is nothing but secondary xylem. In this, the vessels of secondary xylem are getting filled with this particular secretions, and due to this, it can provide a mechanical support, but it is not able to transport the substances. So it does not conduct water and gives a mechanical support to the stem. Now another is the sapwood, which is a peripheral region of the secondary xylem, and this peripheral region of the secondary xylem is lighter in color, and lighter in color, and it is known as sapwood or albumen. And it is lighter in color, it is sapwood or albumen, and it is involved in the conduction of water and minerals from root to the leaf. From root to the leaf. Okay. So this sapwood, if we talk, it conduct water and mineral from root to the leaf because in this such fillings, progressive fillings are not seen in the vessels of this sapwood. So it is peripherally layered. So you can mark this is the sapwood. Okay. So it can conduct water. It is able to transport the materials. Okay. So these are the particular differences between the sapwood and hardwood mainly. Okay. If we talk about the more differences, then in case of the hardwood and sapwood, hardwood is known as duramen and sapwood is known as albumen. Dear students, filling is seen in case of the particularly we can say this hardwood. So it is a central region of the secondary xylem. Okay, so it is central region of secondary xylem. Whereas if we talk about the sapwood, it is peripheral region of secondary xylem. Now, this is how durable and that all things we have discussed in case of the hardwood. It is non-functional for the conduction, whereas we can say conduction can be carried out by the sapwood. Okay. Now this hardwood is dark brown in color, whereas it is light in color. It is dark brown in color and it is light in color. Now this hardwood is a dark brown in color. Okay. If you talk about this hardwood, it is dark brown in color, so it has a higher density, whereas sapwood has a lower density. And in hardwood, you will see the tyloses are present. Tyloses or tracheal plugs are present. So now let's discuss what is this tylosis or tracheal plugs. So if we talk about tylosis or tracheal plugs, and tylosis or tracheal plugs, if we talk, they are nothing but, suppose this is xylem vessel. This is xylem vessel element, because xylem vessel is a multicellular, but this is the single element. So this is a xylem vessel element, and this is xylem parenchyma. Now this xylem parenchyma show balloon shaped ingrowth in this xylem vessel element. So this is a balloon like ingrowth, balloon like ingrowth of xylem parenchyma in the lumen of this xylem vessel. Then it is known as tracheal plugs or tylosis. So what are these tylosis or tracheal plugs? These are bladder or balloon like ingrowth of xylem parenchyma cells in the lumen of vessels, in the lumen of vessel, mainly, and sometimes in the tracheids as well, through the pits. Obviously here you will see the presence of pits. Okay, so such a way this particular, we can say, ingrowth occur of xylem parenchyma in the vessels, then it is known as what? A tylosis. So what happens? This tylosis block, this tylosis block lumen of vessels and tracheids, and due to blockage of, they become non-functional for transport of water and minerals. So this is the thing, dear students. This hardwood, if we talk, it is known as duramen, or it is a tough. It provides stiffness to the stem. It provides stiffness to the stem, and the waste material of which is present within the hardwood, that waste material of hardwood are antiseptic in nature, and they are antiseptic in nature. Apart from this, hardwood is resistant to the, it is it is resistant to attack of, is resistant to attack of termites and insects. It is resistant to the attack of termites and insects. And in a rainy season, And in rainy season, it does not imbibe water. So thus the best quality of wood is obtained from this hardwood. Okay, so this is the difference between hardwood, which is present towards the center, and the sapwood, which is present on the outer side. Sapwood is a functional of for what this particular we can say a water and mineral, but hardwood is not. And one more important point, that diameter of sapwood remain constant. Now, why diameter of sapwood remain constant? Because whatever the inner cells of this particular secondary xylem, that is of sapwood, when sapwood grows, then the inner layers of this sapwood are converted into the hardwood part due to the what progressive wearing. So whenever the new particularly secondary xylem is formed, it is formed towards the outer side of the sapwood. So sapwood is pushed inward. So the inner layer of the sapwood are getting converted into the hardwood part due to the progressive filling. And that is the difference between the hardwood and sapwood. Now, after hardwood, sapwood, we are going to discuss another type of wood. So now we are going to classify wood on the basis of amount of parenchyma. So wood are of two types based on amount of parenchyma. Based on amount of parenchyma, and they are of two types. That is, number one, monoxylic wood. Usually this type of wood are not getting asked in question, but sometimes you will see this particular question at somewhere, then it will help. Mainly this, the initial two types are important. Monoxylic wood, if we to talk, this contain more amount of living parenchyma. They contain more amount of living parenchyma. And due to the more amount of living parenchyma, it is somewhat loose wood. And this loose wood is found in cycas. So this is monoxylic wood. And another type of wood is pycnoxylic wood. This pycnoxylic wood, if we talk, then here this wood contain less amount of living parenchyma. Less amount of living parenchyma. And if we talk about the example of this type of wood, that is pinus. The example are, that is conifers, pinus included into the conifers. So they have a less amount of. Okay, so this is the first classification. Then next we are classifying wood into another type, that is based on presence or absence of vessels. Based on presence or absence of wood. Now if we talk about this two type of wood, then here there is a non-porous and porous wood. Non-porous wood and porous wood. If we non talk about the non-porous wood, it is known as homozylous wood. It is also known as homozylous wood. And in homozylous wood or non-porous wood, vessels are absent. And if we talk about the example, this type of non-porous wood found in mostly gymnosperm. Whereas if we talk about a porous wood or heterozylous wood, then here vessels are present. And in this vessels are present, an example are mostly dicot, that is angiosperms. So this is the porous wood. The porous wood, they have a vessels because vessels have a wider lumen. So if vessels are present, we are going to tell it as what porous wood. And if vessels are present, then we call it as heterozylous as well. But if vessels are absent, the porosity is not present because wider lumen is not there. So in the absence of vessels, we will talk about the non-porous wood, which is found in case of the gymnosperm. Now, further, porous wood on the basis of arrangement of vessels, it is divided into two groups. So now we are going to classify the porous wood, where the vessels are present in case of the angiosperms. But it is divided into two types based on arrangement of vessels in porous wood. Based on arrangement of vessels, the porous wood is into two types. And based on arrangement of vessels, it is of two types, and in that we call it as a ring porous wood and diffused porous wood. In a ring porous wood, dear student, you will see that vessels are arranged in a ring in this type of wood. They are arranged like in a ring. Vessels are arranged in a ring. Whereas when we talk about diffuse porous wood, here asymmetrical distribution of vessels is found in this type of wood. So if we talk about the ring porous wood, and if we talk about the example, the ring porous wood is found in temperate region and temperate region plant example is Dalbergia. Whereas if we talk about the diffuse porous wood, then here we take example of tropical region plants. And if we talk about the tropical region plants example, then it is a Azadirachta, which we call a neem tree. So in this neem tree or Azadirachta, you will see that asymmetric distribution of these vessels is found. Okay, so this is the different particular type of wood that are found in different angiosperm and gymnosperms. So let's discuss some of the few questions related to this. Plants require large amount of water and minerals in specifically the plant require a large amount of water and mineral salts in the spring wood or autumn wood because in spring wood or autumn wood the activity is more and the flower and buds are going to form. So there is a no more formation of this one. So due to this in spring wood the cambium activity is more. Wood formed in spring region show we can say The wood formed in spring period show a more activity of vascular cambium. So large number of xylem vessels are formed with the wider lumen. So more number of xylem vessel. That is the second option. Which wood is lighter in color and has a lower density? Obviously, spring wood has a lighter in color and has a lower density. So that is going to be the answer. The branch of science says this with the counting of annual ring and estimation of the age of tree. We have studied that number of annual ring is equal to the age of tree. So it is particularly studied in the branch that is known as dendrochronology. So fourth is going to be the correct answer. Which wood does not conduct water but gives mechanical support? Obviously, we have studied that hardwood become non-functional for transport. So it does not conduct a particular water, but it provides a mechanical support. So the hardwood is going to be the answer. Okay, so dear students, so that is all about what we can say about the different types of wood which are formed in the particularly dicot plants. Okay, so I hope you understood. Thank you.